Hi everyone, welcome to the Festival of the Future. Today I'm going to be teaching you all about creativity and how you can channel and get those creative juices flowing, whether that's for you or for your team or for the people you work with. So to start, one thing that people have about creativity, there's a complete misconception, is that left brain people are logical and analytical and they're all about the data and they're going into the numbers, and then the right brain people arts and crafts and creativity and their all juices are constantly flowing. That isn't true. That is absolute fake news. Okay, not true. Anyone can be creative. Creativity is something that you can learn, something that you can develop. Just like when you're learning to draw or you're learning to color in when you're a child, it's something that you can build on and get better and better the more you use it. So one of the first aspects I'm going to speak about is embracing uncertainty. When you're coming up with ideas, when you're being creative, when you're brainstorming, you shouldn't have an idea in mind of where you're going to go. It should be uncertain. It should be territory that you've not gone on before. And that's how you can get the most creative ideas come in. So, little activity to try while you're watching this. All I want you to do is to fold your arms, just like this, and then fold them the other way. So, hopefully, if this works, most people it works, that you'll feel a little bit uncertain about folding your arms the other way. It doesn't naturally fit in, it doesn't make sense. And that is the sort of uncertainty that you really need to channel when you're developing ideas. This is a graph that I love. It's got what you know, what you don't know, and what you don't know you don't know. And that massive yellow area there, that is perfect area for ideas. Perfect area to generate ideas, perfect area to just be creative. That's where all the best ideas come from. And you don't know that you don't know it unless you try to get there. Ideas and creativity should be surprising. Do you think when people paint these big masterpieces that they know exactly what they're going to be doing? They don't. They get creative and they channel different energies inside themselves and they get to those points. And it's exactly the same with doing it at work or doing it at home. You need to be surprised with your outcome. Another area which is absolutely fantastic for creativity is being curious. You need to be curious about what you're doing. You need to question things. When we're children, we question things all the time. You say, why are we doing this? How does that work? Where's this? What's that? All these questions. And then as we go to school, we don't really ask them anymore. We learn not to ask the questions. We learn that the answers are more important than the questions. And that's whether through it's exams or tests or anything, but the answers aren't more important. When you're doing creative things or when you want to be more creative, you need to flip that completely, flip the script. Think about the questions, not the answers. So either in the comments below or just think about it yourself. What are some questions that don't have any answers? What are some really open questions? So I've got some examples here. What does okay actually mean? Why do we say bye-bye but not hi-hi? What's at the bottom of the ocean? If you're really wasting time, if you enjoyed it, are you wasting time? If the universe was born at the Big Bang, what existed before then? These are some general answers, like these are general examples of questions, but they don't have any answers, do they? Not really. And that makes people curious, and that's what you need to channel. Another area is independent thinking. So from the title, you may think this is about being independent with yourself and thinking about yourself and remaining creative independently. It's not. Everyone has different perspectives. Everyone has different viewpoints, as this image shows. One person is a fan, one person is a spear. And this is a light-hearted way of showing it, but this is the same scenario that people go with all day, all their life, as people with different opinions and perspectives on different things. It's just something that everyone has. But as people tend to get more professional or they surround themselves with people that, because they're more senior, they tend to get people that have similar viewpoints. They're called the yes people, the people that agree with them, the people that are passionate about the same things. And in some ways that can be good, but in others, it means that you're not going to get the full picture. You're not going to get those pieces of the puzzle that form the big creative ideas. You need to have those conflicting opinions and you need to build on those. So, little activity. You can either think about this, put it in the comments below, or just share with your team. What are your unpopular opinions? Do you dislike Star Wars? Do you love Marmite? Those unpopular opinions are what make you different to other people, and those differences are what's going to form those great creative ideas and get those creative juices flowing and bouncing around. Another area is around sharpening your senses. So this is around getting rid of that tunnel vision. You're in your bubble, you're in your IT team or your housing team or the people that you work with. You have a very specific bubble. You all have similar opinions on things. You have the same experience on things. And it's about basically blowing up that bubble, getting rid of that tunnel, expanding your vision, whether it's new music or new art or new games or just new opinions and new ways to look at things. And then what that does is it takes this big ball of string in your mind and unravels it and gets those great ideas out because you've experienced new things and you have new areas to pull from. A great example of this is with Einstein and his theory of relativity. So you may be familiar with his theory of relativity about E equals mc squared, but what you might think is that he spent ages on that. He narrowed it down and he really dug deep and he spent ages working. And for the most part, he did. But he got to a lot of points where he was just completely stuck, completely hit a mental wall and he couldn't get past it. And what he did then is he didn't go, oh, I'm going to break through this wall. I'm going to keep working on it. I'm going to keep powering through. He took a step back. He worked on some other bits. He multitasked. He worked on some stuff for lasers. He worked on some stuff around rocket science. And all those things triggered parts of his mind that he didn't realize because he'd been thinking about other things. And that made him come back to his theory of relativity and finish it off into what we know today. So this is a concept that's called slow motion multitasking. And what this means is when your brain is functioning in a different way, you actually are generating ideas for something that you might not even be consciously thinking of. So you could be ironing, you could be cooking, you could be washing the dishes. And what this is doing is you might be doing something mundane, but in your mind, you're making different connections and thinking, oh, that's a great idea for that. Maybe we should do that. Maybe we should run a festival. All those sorts of things only happen when you take a step back sometimes. So sometimes just take a step back from what you're doing and you'll get the best ideas. On the subject of ideas, building ideas is just a fundamental building block, pun intended, of ideas and creativity and making creative ideas. So, little activity for you to think of while you're watching. This bridge here, what is the first idea you think of to cross this bridge? How could you cross it? Swim? You could try and pole vault, all these sorts of ideas. What is your first idea you think of? And keep that in your mind as we go through the next section. With ideas, people tend to think, oh, I should come up with the idea, or, oh, I'll get someone else to come up with the idea. But the best ideas are bouncing around. Bounce your ideas around, get other opinions, get other people's perspectives, bounce the idea around until it's fully formed. And that's one of the key points of this. It shouldn't be independent idea generation. You should be getting everyone you can involved and getting all their different experiences and opinions. And, oh, that's a great idea. What if we did it this way? And that's how the best ideas are formed. This is one of the main points of this whole video. Is the 10 ideas routine. So this is quite a common routine, but not many people are aware of it. And what it is you should be coming up with at least 10 or more ideas every time you want to come up with an idea. You want to come up with a title for a blog, 10 ideas. You want to come up with a slogan for a new product, 10 ideas. You want to come up with an idea for an event, 10 ideas. Sometimes you can go to 15 or 20 if you're feeling really creative. 10 is what you should strive for. Because what this does is you think of the first couple ideas and then your brain hits a wall. If you smash through that wall, you think of a couple more ideas, brain hits a wall. And you smash through that wall and then you just get all these creative ideas, and your 10th idea will be so much more creative and so much better than your first or second idea. So you just need to keep generating and keep forcing yourself to go through these different walls. So I said to keep that first idea in your mind. Think of 10 ideas now for crossing this bridge. It could be anything, just 10 ideas, think of them. You can put them in the comments below, or you can just think about them to yourself. Pause the video, have a think of the 10 ideas, and then is that 10th idea or the 9th idea or any of the later ideas more creative or a better idea than the first idea? So when I did this, first idea was, oh, you could just swim across. And then once you get to the 9th or 10 ideas, it's, oh, jetpack, or, oh, I could Evel Knievel across the bridge. And that's just more creative. Do you think you could go on to 20 or 30 ideas? the absolutely insane stuff you could think of that you wouldn't have thought of on that first 2 ideas. And that's the main point of the 10 ideas. So as I spoke about before, making connections is a really, really important part. And it's how your brain works. You make connections. You see a cat and it makes you think of fur, and then you think of a coat, and it just all connects, and that's how your brain works. This is how your brain comes up with creative ideas. It makes connections from different areas and it builds them together and builds all these big ideas. This is a really simple example, but this is a mind map that someone's done, mapping out their brain activity for when they want to go on holiday. They've got the activities they want to do split off from activity. They've got the different types of transportation that they could be going. They've got the accommodation. So that's a really simple version. In reality, your mind looks a bit more like this, making connections from all over the place all at once very quickly. But this is really simple things that you can map out yourself to help with your idea generation. So instead of just thinking about the connections, if you visualize the connections, then it makes it really easy to see where things could possibly go. Here's a really quick 1-minute one that I did. It was really simple. I just did it about this presentation, and it has little drawings, excuse the bad handwriting, but it doesn't matter. It's about the different connections. So I've gone from new experiences to music to soundtracks. And if I kept going, if I went for longer, I could go on even bigger and bigger. If you want to come up with an idea for something, stick, oh, I need a new product thing, or I need a slogan, or I need a new event, or what can we do for this? Stick that in the middle, branch off. What does it make you think of? Does it make you think of this? And that makes you think of that, and that makes you think of that. This is how all the idea works. You write down how your brain works, and then it'll be really simple to follow the track and find out where you're going. It's a really easy and effective way to map out different creative ideas. So in summary, you need to embrace the uncertainty, the surprise of idea generation. You don't need to have an idea where you're going. The best part of creativity is not knowing where you're going. You need to be curious. You need to question things. You need to ask lots of questions, whether you think they're stupid questions or not. You need to ask them. Keep asking questions. Be curious about things. Don't surround yourself with yes people. Share your unpopular opinions. If you don't like something, say you don't like something. All these things help to build on different ideas and will make you more creative because you're not being a yes person. You need to sharpen your senses. Listen to different types of music, different pieces of art. Expand your mind. Look at what other people are doing. Look at different areas. Read different blogs. All this sort of stuff is going to expand the ideas that you come up with. And sometimes take a step back. Do that slow motion multitasking. Take a step back from something. If you can't think of any ideas, take a step back. Go do some washing up or go for a walk or anything like that. And you're going to come up with way more ideas that way than just focusing on the one thing. Build your ideas. It's still creative to bounce them around. In fact, sometimes it's more creative to bounce ideas around. Don't censor yourself early. Come up with those 10 ideas or more if you're feeling creative, and then just power through those different walls and get the best ideas and the most creativity that you possibly can. Mind map. Make new connections. Mind map your ideas. Mind map, mind map, mind map. It's a summary for that tool. And what I'm going to end on is a really great quote that I like. And it's, you can't use up creativity. The more you use, the more you have. That's my talk. I hope that it's been really helpful for you, and I hope that you've done something creative today. And if you haven't done something creative today, after this, do a mind map or think of those ideas for the bridge. Think of a different scenario. Set a creative activity for your team. Have a look at some icebreakers online. Just embrace your creativity. You are creative. And just channel it. Thanks, everyone.